With every beat of your heart, blood is pumped through your aortic valve and into your body. By the time you're 65, that valve has opened and closed more than 2 billion times. And perhaps not surprisingly, serious problems can develop. But a new treatment option can help. Dr. Frank McGeorge tells us about a recent FDA change that makes that less invasive treatment available to more people.
Probably 8 or 10 years ago, my time just got less and less and really didn't put 2 and 2 together. Get an equal amount on each of the pots.
Albert Bordine is a very active man who used to cycle regularly, but several years ago he was diagnosed with aortic stenosis, and it's progressed.
I tried to walk 2 miles yesterday and couldn't hardly make it. I couldn't walk. I had to just barely step to get through it.
Aortic stenosis occurs in some people when the aortic valve becomes calcified and narrow, causing the heart to beat harder and decreasing the blood flow to the body. Common symptoms can include increasing fatigue, shortness of breath with exertion, and even suddenly passing out. For at least 60 years, the standard treatment for severe aortic stenosis has been to replace the valve through open heart surgery.
Surgery was available, but that was crack the chest type, that's pretty heavy to just recover from.
It takes about a month to recuperate from an open heart operation.
But the catheter procedure to replace the valve is much less invasive.
1 or 2 nights stay in the hospital, and then they go home. They're able to get back to normal activity within 48 hours.
Dr. William O'Neill is the medical director of the Structural Heart Disease Center at Henry Ford Hospital.
We did a head-to-head comparison of patients that are low surgical risk where they got surgery versus TAVR. And in fact, the people that got TAVR had a better outcome. There was a lower mortality and a better 1 and 3 year outcome.
That research and a decade's worth of other developments and experience led the FDA to approve the TAVR procedure for even low surgical risk patients, not only for people who wouldn't survive surgery.
Maybe I can get 10 more years of healthy activity until something else might go wrong.
Well, he ended up having the TAVR procedure done and is doing great. He's even back to exercising. Now, there are some unusual circumstances where the procedure can't be done and the bigger surgery would be necessary. But for the majority of people, this will become the new standard. NASA had its first blood clot case in space. The agency had no protocol for the issue, so they contacted a doctor at the University of North Carolina. That doctor was Stephen Mall, who wanted to be an astronaut as a kid. The identity of the astronaut on the International Space Station is being kept private, but we're told they had a clot in their jugular vein. While a typical treatment would be blood thinners, Dr. Mall wasn't sure if those would work in zero gravity.
All decisions that had to be made were best guesses. One needed to weigh the risk-benefit of starting a blood thinner or not using a blood thinner.
While the ISS had a limited supply of blood thinners, the treatment did work, and the astronaut even called from space to thank him. The astronaut has since returned to Earth and is doing well. If you're constantly stressed at work, you may want to buy a plant. Researchers in Japan looked at the psychological and physiological stress levels in 63 office workers. All were asked to take a 3-minute break at their desk when feeling fatigued. The study found their anxiety levels dropped significantly when they had a small plant like a bonsai or a cactus near their computer.